a show. It's a podcast show. Welcome to the Julie Cross Podcast Show. Empowering, energising and entertaining. Hi friends, welcome back to the podcast show. Last line of our song. Well, it's the second last line, but we've already done the last line. If you tuned in a few podcast shows ago, you'd know that we were doing our Sparkle chorus. And if you've been to one of my shows, you would know what that's all about. And this line is the line. Some action is required. Some discipline must be applied. Some action is required. You know, and this is often where it all falls apart, isn't it? We've got to take action. We've got to take action with the knowledge. You know, we can read all the books we like and we can go to all the courses that we want, but we actually got to do something with it, you know, and I think that there are a lot of people benefiting from the fact that people don't do anything with it. You know, I just noticed that in my time as a speaker and a trainer, I've watched how many courses there are available out there now and how many people I see buying into courses, and I'm all for it. Hey, that's kind of what keeps me in a job. But I see people, I think, sometimes thinking the more courses they do, the more successful they will be. But no. It's how much you action what you're doing. You know, I see people thinking, well, if I spend this much money on this course or this workshop or whatever, I'm going to be successful quicker. Oh, well, only if you take action on the content. Only if you do something with what you're learning, only if you have the ability to take responsibility. It's our life we're living here. Would we all like to take a little bit of responsibility with that? I think responsibility is the new black, because it's about the action. You know, one of the things I challenge people on is we keep saying, oh, well, people need to be more educated about wellness, about fitness, about people need to be more educated that exercise is good for them. Well, I just think that's such a load of crock. I just think most of us have been educated. I think everyone knows exercise is good for you. Who in the first world country doesn't know exercise is good for them by now? So it's not the fact that we need more education. We just need more action. We need more personal responsibility. We need more people realising that they're worth the walk and to do something about it. That's what we need. So that's the action and discipline, personal discipline to do it. And I often say, and this is why, once again, that the Sparkle song kind of all works together, and that comes back to your sparkle, is if when you loved yourself enough, you knew you were worth it. And that creates motivation. And when there's more motivation, because emotion is motion, which is motivation, when there's more self-motivation, self-love, then less discipline is actually required because you're more inspired to do it. You're more motivated to take action. So this is kind of how it all works together. But at the same time, this is the wonderful thing as well, that discipline can actually help get your sparkle going, because it's when you're not feeling it that you have the discipline to follow through with an action, and then the action lifts your energy and actually then makes you feel better about yourself. So this is why it all works so well together. But this is why also that we can't just talk about it. We've got to do something. So you have to have the discipline to grab your thinking, to shift your energy. You have to have the discipline to muscle up mentally. You have to take action on that. So when the more exposure you get, the more exposed you'll be. So when somebody says something negative to you, you've got to take action with that and say, well, you know, I've got to be disciplined in my thinking and not let this get to me. So I've got a choice to make here. You got to take some action. You just can't let your feelings run away with you either. So if you notice your feeling getting low, are you taking some action and being disciplined and saying, I can feel my energy going, I've got to grab my thinking and lift my thinking a little bit. You know, and I talk about the government can put in all these walkways for us. You know, the councils are doing that. They've got all these beautiful walkways. We've got all that free equipment that you can use. We've all got, you know, walking shoes in our cupboard, but the government cannot come and knock on your door and get you out of bed for a walk in the morning. That would be our job to do that. Some action is required. You know, and you sweat the same in Lorna Jane as you do in Best and Less. So that's not an excuse. And so it's about taking the action to do what you said you were going to do. You know, Robin Sharma, that's one of my favourite quotes from him. He said, if only we did what we said we were going to do. If only we did what we said we were going to do. What a big difference it would make to our lives. And the other one he says is sometimes you've got to do what you ought to do, not what you feel like doing. And that's discipline. sometimes I feel like opening the next bottle of wine. What I ought to do is go and have a big drink of water. Sometimes you've got to do what you ought to do, not what you feel like doing. And there's discipline in that. And sometimes discipline is a muscle that gets sloppy, and mine does too. And sometimes I've got to challenge myself with a new discipline so that I can rework that muscle. So your discipline is important. So some action is required. Do what you said you were going to do. That's your challenge, and you're worth it. It's your life. Take some responsibility with that. Thank you. See you next time. If you'd like to attend one of my public shows or book me to speak at your next conference, please visit juliecross.com.au.